Have you ever said yes to something when every fiber of your being was screaming no? You're not alone. It's a classic case of people-pleasing, a trap so many of us fall into. We say yes to extra work, yes to social events we don't want to attend, yes to favors that drain our energy. Why do we do this? Often, it's because we fear disappointing others. We fear conflict, or we simply want to be seen as helpful and reliable. But here's the hard truth. Every time you say yes to something you do want to do, you're saying no to something you do want to do. You're saying no to your own needs, your own goals, and your own well-being. Today, we're going to talk about the incredible power of saying no. And I'm going to share a story that might just change the way you see that two-letter word forever. Let me introduce you to Sarah. Sarah was the ultimate yes woman. At work, her boss knew he could pile on last-minute projects, and Sarah would always say yes, staying late to get it all done. Her friends knew she'd always be the one to organize parties, even when she was exhausted. Her family relied on her for everything, from babysitting to running errands. On the outside, Sarah looked like a superhero. She was dependable, always there for everyone. But on the inside, she was crumbling. She was constantly stressed. Her personal projects were gathering dust, and she couldn't remember the last time she did something just for herself. She felt like she was running on an empty tank, and resentment was starting to build. She loved the people in her life, but she felt like her own life was no longer her own. It was a collection of obligations to everyone else. One Tuesday afternoon, it all came to a head. Sarah's boss dropped a massive report on her desk. Due the next morning, it wasn't just extra work. It was a project that should have been assigned weeks ago and given to a whole team. That same evening, her best friend called, asking her to help plan a surprise party for that weekend. And to top it off, her cousin asked if she could watch her kids for a few hours. Sarah looked at her calendar, a chaotic mess of commitments, and felt a wave of panic wash over her. She could feel the familiar yes forming on her lips, the automatic response she'd been conditioned to give. But this time, something was different. The exhaustion was so profound, the unfairness of it all so clear, that a new word fought its way to the surface. She took a deep breath. To her boss, she said, "I understand this is important, but I won't be able to complete this by tomorrow on my own. I can start on it, but I'll need help and a more realistic deadline." To her friend, she said, "I'd love to celebrate with you, but I can't take on the planning right now. I'm completely swamped." And to her cousin, she said, "I can't this time, I'm so sorry." Each no was terrifying. She braced for impact, expecting anger, disappointment, and guilt. And yes, there was some initial surprise. Her boss was a bit taken aback. Her friend was a little disappointed. But the world didn't end. In fact, something amazing happened. Her boss, forced to reconsider, assigned two other colleagues to help with the report. Her friend understood and asked someone else to co-plan the party. Her cousin found another babysitter. The immediate aftermath wasn't a catastrophe. It was a revelation. But the real change happened inside Sarah. That night, for the first time in months, she left work on time. She went home, ordered her favorite takeout, and watched a movie she'd been wanting to see for ages. It felt strange. It felt liberating. The weight that had been pressing down on her chest for so long began to lift. She realized that by saying no to others, she had finally said yes to herself. This small act of rebellion, this simple word, had given her back a piece of her life. It wasn't selfish. It was self-preservation. This was the beginning of Sarah's transformation. Saying no didn't become a weapon, but a tool. A tool for setting boundaries and protecting her most valuable resources, her time and her energy. She started evaluating requests instead of automatically accepting them. Was this something she genuinely wanted to do? Did she have the capacity for it? Was it her responsibility? She learned to say no, politely but firmly. Thank you for thinking of me, but I can't commit to that right now, or my plate is full at the moment. So I'll have to pass. She discovered that people's reactions were often much milder than she'd feared. Most people, when faced with a reasonable boundary, respected it, and those who didn't, well, that was a valuable piece of information too. It showed her which relationships were based on mutual respect and which were based on what she could provide. The more Sarah practiced, the more confident she became. She had more energy for the projects at work that she was truly passionate about, which led to a promotion. She had more quality time to spend with friends and family on her own terms, making their time together more meaningful. She finally started that painting class she'd been dreaming of for years. She wasn't just surviving anymore. She was thriving. Her relationships improved because they were no longer clouded by unspoken resentment. People began to respect her time more. Her yes, when she gave it, became more valuable because it was genuine. She was no longer Sarah, the yes woman. She was Sarah, a woman who knew her worth and respected her own limits. So, how can you start harnessing this power in your own life? It starts small. Identify one small thing this week that you can say no to. Maybe it's a meeting you don't really need to be in. Maybe it's a social plan you're dreading. Start with low-stakes situations to build your confidence. You don't need to provide a long, elaborate excuse. A simple, "I'm not able to do that," is often enough. Remember, no is a complete sentence. Reframe your mindset. You are not rejecting the person. You are declining the request. You're not being selfish. You're being strategic with your energy. Think of your time and energy as a budget. You only have so much. Spend it wisely on the things that truly matter to you. When you feel that guilt creeping in, remind yourself of the cost of saying yes. Remind yourself of the stress, the burnout, and the resentment. Remind yourself that by saying no, you are creating space. Space for rest. Space for your passions. Space for the people and activities that light you up. Saying no is an act of self-respect. It's a declaration that your needs are valid and your time is precious. It gives you control over your own life. It allows you to move from a place of obligation to a place of intention. Think about it. The most successful and fulfilled people in the world are masters of saying no. They understand that to achieve great things, they have to be fiercely protective of their focus. They say no to distractions, no to opportunities that don't align with their vision, and no to things that drain their energy without providing value. This isn't a skill reserved for CEOs or world leaders. It's a skill for anyone who wants to live a more authentic, fulfilling, and less stressful life. It's for you. So, I challenge you today. Take a look at your commitments. Where are you overextended? What are you doing out of obligation rather than desire? Find that one small no you can practice this week. See how it feels. It might be uncomfortable at first, but I promise you, the feeling of taking back control is worth it. Like Sarah, you might discover that saying no doesn't close doors. It opens up the right ones. It opens the door to a life that is designed by you, for you. A life where your yes is powerful, meaningful, and true. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, let me know in the comments below. What's one thing you're going to say no to this week? Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more content on living an intentional life. You are in control. Start today.